Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope you are all fine at home. In this video, we are going to see a prose, The Summit Within, from grade 8 English. Are you all ready to listen to the class? Yes. So, see this video. So, what did you see in that video, children? Yes, you saw a person climbing the mountain. In this lesson, we are going to see how HPS Ahluwalia climbed the climbed the Mount Everest successfully in 1965. Okay, he is an Indian. So in this lesson, he talks about the experience of climbing the world's highest summit, that is the Mount Everest. He tells the readers how the physical conquest, how physically he fought or underwent changes one on a personal and spiritual level. So if you are thinking something in your mind, if there is a goal in your mind, how many problems you have to face to reach the goal? Yes, so everything he shares. So after talking about climbing the physical summit, he has also talked about the task of climbing the summit within. So let us see the summary of the lesson. The summit within begins with the author expressing how he felt as he stood at the summit of Everest. So once he climbed the Everest and how did he feel after climbing the Everest? It starts like that. Despite the physical exhaustion, the serene view made him feel multiple emotions, the dominant of which was humility. So he is thinking about after climbing the Everest, though he was physically exhausted in the sense very tired. The serene view, the view from the Mount Everest made him. It gave him a different emotions. So most dominant among the emotions was humility. He believes that a man who has been to the mountains is never the same before. He thinks that it changes the whole personality of the person. He further talked about climbing the summit of the mind once he had climbed the summit of Everest. As soon as he got rid of his physical exhaustion, his mind started wondering as to why people climb mountains. He then speaks about why people has to climb the mountains. So most people would simply say because it is there, but the author had a more personal answer to the question. So why people has to climb the mountains? He had always been interested by the mountains and would get miserable on being away from them. He mentions how the obstacles in climbing a mountain are physical. A climb to summit means endurance. Endurance means willpower, persistence. He talks about another question, that is why Everest? Why we should climb Everest? Simply because it is the highest and mightiest. The first question arises in his mind is why people climb mountains, and the second question is why we should climb Everest. So no wonder how difficult the passage is upwards. The sense of fulfillment, he got a sense of fulfillment, an excitement, joy or satisfaction he got while standing on the top of the summit, which is incomparable to any other summits. Summit means mountain. The experience is otherworldly. he says there is no perfect answer to the question as to why he climbed Everest. He compared it to why people breathe. So he is comparing this question, why we should climb Everest, to the question, why people breathe. Because it is necessary to breathe for living, right? Yes. He explains how fellow climbers help each other in fulfilling this conquest. So famous climbers have left records of help without which they would have given up. Standing on summit makes you realize that struggle was worthwhile. So during climbing the mountain, we must help each other. Otherwise, one or the other will have to give up the travel. The view motivates you to rise above your current situations. It provides a means for communication with God. On the highest peak, he explains how you bow down and make your submission to God you worship, because it is not so easy to climb the mountain. The group had left pictures and relics of gods they believed in. Each one, together they went out, at least 5 members. So they have kept the pictures of gods whom they believe in. He then continues talking about other summit, the summit within, which is harder to climb. So what is the other summit which is harder to climb? Yes, but any climb, regardless of physical or spiritual, that is our goal. Here he talks about the goal. We all have our own summits to climb up, right? So we have to strive very hard to climb that mountain. Holds the capacity to change you completely. He expresses that having successfully climbed the Everest had given him strength to face life's problems, and that climbing a summit, internal or that of a mountain, is a worthwhile experience. He thinks that it is a very important experience. So let us move into the explanation of this lesson. Before getting into the explanation, let us see the sum of the hard words in that paragraph. Surged, arose suddenly and intensely. Summit, the highest point of a hill or a mountain. Panorama, the view of a wide area. Humility, the quality of having a modest or low view of one's importance. Jubilant, very happy because of success. Tinge, race or shade. So the author begins the story by telling the readers about the rush of multiple emotions he felt as he stood on the highest point of Mount Everest. The author starts with how he felt once he reached the Everest, the top of the Everest. The huge panorama below them made them feel little modest. He felt himself a modest person, that is a superior person. Climbing up to the top had made him so tired that his physical strength was glad it was over. So as climbing a mountain needs a lot of physical strength, his whole strength was taken away. All his energy was over. However, rather than feeling proud and joyous of having climbed the highest peak, he could feel some sadness within him. The only probable reason for this feeling could be that he had now become proficient by climbing the highest point, and all the roads from that point will only lead downwards. After reaching the Everest, he had nothing else to achieve more, right? So this made him very sad. Next, he has to climb only downwards. Sad. Formidable, strong and powerful. Strong and powerful. Remote, distant. The author writes that whenever he thinks about having climbed the summit of Everest, he cannot help but think about another significant summit, that is, which is one of the mind, which is not easier to climb easily. It is not easy to climb our summit in the mind. It is not any less challenging. It is also very much challenging. Once he had climbed Everest, returned and recovered from the people exhaustion, he began to ask himself the reason why he climbed the highest peak. Why he has to climb the peak first. Next, why he had climbed the highest peak, why it is Everest. So it was quite difficult to understand why the accomplishment had such an impact on this imagination, and that each day has passed, the experience would get old. At that very moment, he was unsure if the memory would remain or fade away slowly. So endurance means tolerance, persistence, the fact of continuing in a course of action in spite of difficulty. Exhilarating, very exciting. So all the thoughts that came into author's mind made him ask himself as to why people climb mountains. It is not that easy answer, because in the simplest way possible could be because it is there. Yes, why people climb mountains? We cannot answer it easily, right? As if it is there, we are climbing. No, not like that. Climbing a mountain poses great challenge. So one who wants a great challenge in life, they choose that option. And we all know that overcoming these obstacles brings pleasure to the climbers. In climbing a mountain, these obstacles are physical, such as tolerance. We need we should be physically healthy. If we are not, we cannot able to climb the mountain. Next, we need tolerance. So once if you get hurt, you should not give up. So we should tolerate everything. We should have willpower and determination to keep you going. So the exhibition of these physical qualities and one's awareness, we should be aware of that. What are the difficulties we have to undergo during climbing a mountain? So on the other hand, it is thrilling also, and same was the case for the author. Majesty, magnificence or great beauty, communion, the sharing or exchanging of intimate thoughts and feelings, especially on a mental or spiritual level. The author seems to have a more personal answer to this question. He had been immensely attracted. He was very much attracted. Immensely means deeply attracted by mountains since his childhood, from his childhood. So he used to feel lost and unhappy in the plains. So when he was away from the mountains, he feels mountains are nature in its best form. Although their magnificence and beauty, that is the beauty of mountains, attracted him so much, so that he feels very unhappy if he lives in plains. Although their magnificence and beauty pose a significant challenge, the author, along with a lot of people, believe that mountains provide a platform for sharing personal thoughts and feelings directly with God. He thinks that once you reach the top of the mountain, you are very close to God. Defied, frustrated, resisted, brutal, unpleasant or harsh, glimpsing, catch or get a sight of, mystical, inspiring a sense of spiritual mystery, awe and fascination, other worldly pleasures. Aloofness, distant. Aloofness means distant. Ruggedness, roughly irregular, heavy or hard in outline or form. So once having found out why to climb mountains, the question why Everest? So he asks again a question that why we should climb Everest? So probably because it is the highest in the world and has resisted many attempts of people trying to climb it. So many of them have tried to climb it. Not everyone gets succeeded, right? Yes, to reach the summit of Everest, it asks for every bit of energy in one's body. It asks each and every bit of energy in their body. So it is a harsh struggle with ice and huge rocks. So once you have taken this hard challenge, there is no option for you to give up midway, even if life is at stake, because the passage backwards poses the same difficulties and challenges as the passage upwards. So if you want to give up in the midway, you will not be able to do that, because getting down is as difficult as going up. So when finally, after overcoming all these obstacles, one reaches the summit, there are feelings of accomplishment, excitement, joy, victory, and happiness. So there is a feeling of having fought a battle and won. So after climbing the mountain, you feel like, yes, you have won the battle. The author mentions how looking at another peak transported him to another world. So he experienced a change within himself, which can only be called mystical. So the peak attracted the author to itself with the help of its greatness, beauty, serenity, and the difficulties it poses on the way. So he says it was challenge difficult to resist. So what is a challenge difficult to resist? The challenge which is difficult to unaccept. So once you are challenged to climb the mountain, you will never resist for accepting it. The author looks back and discovers that he had not yet revealed why he actually climbed Everest. He compares it by asking a question as to why one breathes. So he is comparing the question why one should climb Everest like why one should breathe. So why one helps their neighbor or why one does a good deed. So it is impossible to find an answer to these questions, right? So he also mentions the fact Everest is not just a physical climb, but it changes the person in a way that makes him aware how small he and his problems are in this infinite universe. So once you look at a mountain, we feel, or once we don't compare it with a mountain, no, we feel like only our problems are like a mountain, right? So once if you climb the mountain and see, when you compare that with your problems, that is not at all a matter. Those are very small things which we had never need to sit and worry about it. Conquest, conquering. The overcoming of physical barriers is the only bit of the accomplishment. There is a lot more like it, the sense of accomplishment, the satisfying urge to rise above the current circumstances. It is the never-ending desire for adventure in a person. So the experience is not just physical but emotional and spiritual too. Here the author describes that conquering, that is to climb the mountain, is not only a physical challenge, it is a spiritual challenge too. So he's saying that emotionally he is very much happy. You cannot express it to anyone how happy you are once you climb the mountain. Firm in, make yourself firm. Belays, fixes a rope. Grim, harsh. Ascent, climb. He begins evaluating a usual climb to summit where you are sharing the rope with another climber. So as you make yourself firm, he moves ahead as he curves. It is a difficult climb that puts pressure on every nerve as you take a step forward. So you should be very careful. It cannot be done in one day, right children? Yes. So in midway, your food, your breath, your emotions, everything has to put up together to climb the mountain. Yes. He moves ahead as he carves the hard ice with his feet, only to further fix the rope to help you inch your way up. So you have to work very hard to move even single inch. So it is a difficult climb that puts pressure on every nerve as you take a step forward. He mentions how it has been recorded by some famous climbers for having taken move forward. Else they would have given up. It is needed very difficult to breathe for signing up for this, and you start questioning why you undertook it all in the first place. It pushes you to give up, and the idea of going back looks relieving in that moment. So then almost instantly you are out of that mood. You feel something in yourself that does not let you give up and you move on. So your companion is always there with you. As you climb and look at the distance left, you feel as if there is no end. So you and your companion both look at each other in search of motivation, and then suddenly, without even realizing it at first, you are already at the summit. So as if each inch you move, no, when you look at the remaining distance you have to move, you feel like it is a never-ending path, right? you have to go for a long time. But once you reach the summit, you don't know how you have came there. Ennobling. Give someone a noble rank or title. Obeisance. Differential respect. As you look around once you reach the summit, you tell yourself that it was worth all the struggle and hardships. So if it is a small mountain, how much ever struggle you have undergone, here after reaching the Everest, you know how much ever struggle is worth climbing the mountain. You can see other peaks through the clouds, and if you are fortunate enough, there may be sunlight on them. The peaks nearby look as a jeweled necklace. The peaks nearby look like a jeweled necklace around the neck of your summit. As you look down, you can look at the vast valleys from a distance. To look down from the summit of a mountain is an honorable and enhancing experience. As you are on the top of the mountain, you bow down and pay your respects to whichever god you worship. Once you reach, the first thing you do is you thank the god which helped you, right? And to whom you worship. Relic, artifact, reverence, deep respect for someone or something. On Everest, the author left a picture of Guru Nanak Dev. His fellow climbers, Rawat and Pu Dorji, left pictures and relics of goddess Durga and Buddha respectively. So Rawat has left goddess Durga and Pu Dorji left Buddha's photos, right? Edmund Hillary built a cross. Edmund Hillary, he's a Christian. He just built a cross with a heap of rocks in the snow with the help of the snow. So he mentioned that these are not symbols of accomplishment. These are not the symbols of accomplishment, but of respect and admiration. So it is not to show which religion they belong to, but it is the respect and admiration. This is because the experience of having climbed the summit changes you completely. Akin, similar. He talks about another summit, the summit within one's own mind. He further explains how there is a mountain peak within each person's mind and how he must climb it to attain complete awareness of oneself. It is fearful and cannot be measured. Moreover, no one except you can climb it. He further explains how physically climbing a mountain is similar to climbing the one within. The effects of both climbs are also the same. He is comparing climbing a summit and climbing a summit within one's own mind. So reaching our own goal. To decide what is our goal, we have each lot of problems in our mind. Each and everything looks like a summit. To overcome it, to climb it itself is like climbing an Everest. It is fearful and cannot be measured. So moreover, no one except you can climb it. So what summit is there in your mind? Who can climb it? It is you. So he further explains how physically climbing a mountain is similar to climbing the one within ourselves. The effects of both the climbs are also the same. It changes you completely irrespective of the nature of climb being physical, emotional or spiritual. Whatever nature of the summit is there in your mind, that is not a matter. The thing is, you should have faith in yourself to climb it. So it teaches you a lot about the world around you and the one inside you. Okay, it will teach you what is the world around you and who you are. Ordeals, painful experiences. Resolutely, with determination or firmness. The author goes about thinking that his experience as an Everester, has given him both the strength and inspiration to deal with life's painful experiences with determination and firmness by being very strong. Just like climbing Everest was a worthwhile experience, conquering the summit within equally worthwhile. So how he compares, reaching the top of Everest is equal to reach the top of the summit that you have in your mind. Both are equal. So moreover, internal summits are higher than the physical summit of Everest. He says that Moreover, internal summit, the summit which we have in our mind, is higher than Mount Everest. Children, I hope you have understood this lesson. We have come to the end of this lesson, and thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Try to write the slip test without fail and send it in the group, children. Take care. Bye.